Okay, so to start off the stream, we're going to be going over the patch changes for 1.04.1, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know why their posts that they make don't include the numbers and make you go in game. But very thankfully, once again, someone on Reddit has done the very nice job of doing the numbers for us in actually a very nice comparison chart, like if you're changing parts in the game. So just to start, one of the first changes was that the laser blade, which is a single slash, but when you charge does that stupid double spin that is very easy to dodge. So they increased the cooling on it. As well as the weight got a 620 weight drop, which is actually very significant. And then the energy went down by like 30% as well. And then they actually made a damage increase for the Moonlight charge attack, and it cools down faster. The Napalm Bomb Launcher got a very slight damage increase. You're not even going to notice that because you really do it for, lighting people on fire. But the charge time was cut in half, and it has a lot more ammo. So you can get the charge attacks off. Now the Jamming Bomb, same thing, just they cut the charging time in half. The Stun Bomb, the Therapist, actually had a very sizable attack damage increase. So you may actually feel this one. Prior, the Therapist was quite worthless considering how good the stun gun and stun needles were. There's really no reason to use the Therapist over the stun guns, but at this point, I have to try these out at some point in the week and see if they're actually good now. It's like more than a 50% damage increase. The charge as well went down, and you got almost double the ammo. Also, something else that they pointed out also is that they stabilized the shock damage by shortening intervals between damage procs and adjusted the buildup. So I think what they did was that they increased. So Leo, not necessarily, but we will get to that. So they reduced how fast it hits. So in theory, the damage increase may not be that much, but they increased how much buildup it gets per hit. So I'm stupid. They shortened the interval between damage procs. This thing hits more often now. It's a 50% damage increase, and it hits more times faster. I completely misread that. So yeah, that's a fairly large change there, actually. For the laser shotgun, the charge attack power got a sizable increase, charge time cut down, and cooling was increased. So the Karasawa, here's what I'm going to say why it's not necessarily more viable. It is a more viable plasma gun, albeit weighing a metric fuck ton. Which is why I'm saying it may not really be as viable as we're really hoping for, because it weighs so much, you really just can't slap it on. The attack power is okay for the plasma weapons, but while they doubled the ammo, the full charge went from 10 to 20. So it's still the same number of full charges, but then the half charge went from 3 ammo to 8. So prior, it had 80 ammo, and it used 3 for the half charges. Or was it 5? I forget, but either way, 16 half. Now it cost 8. I'm pretty sure it was 3. So it's like 3 for the partial charge, so you almost got 30. Now it costs 8, you get like 20. So I think you actually get less half charges, which are like the fairly strong, like mid-charge bolts, which were a pretty quick charge time for that part of it. But, it was 4. Okay, yeah, then never mind, it was 4. So, yeah, so they just doubled it. So all they really did is that you can spam the plasma part of it now, but that's not really why you got the gun. I don't know why I thought it was 3. 4 makes so much sense, they kept the ratio the same. Now, the Morlaix got a very nice buff. While you never ran out of ammo with it in the first place, so this is fine, the weight decrease on the Morlaix from 8.5k to 6.5 especially for midweights, is very significant, and you can now actually afford to put this onto a lightweight AC, barring you're not using like heavier arm weapons like certain lasers. If you're sticking with these stun guns, you can now actually afford to fit a freaking Morley on there just to smack something really quick. They're great when firing down from the air. It carpet bombs the area. As for the other changes, the arms, the starter arms got a fairly sizable melee increase. So 12 points there is really a 6% melee increase overall. The C3s got a higher firearm specialization, which I'm not necessarily sure if that was needed, but they got that. But the weight also dropped a bit. The Tianlongs got 5% damage increase on melee specialization, so they're really trying to fix these up across the board. The VP46S got a very sizable melee increase, actually. That is 24 points, so a 12% damage increase for the melee. Granted, because it's also fairly heavier arms. Not sure how much melee you're really doing with it. The Natched arms just got small EN load, not really noticeable, but it's there. The VE arms, fairly lightweight arms. Actually, I messed up. The VPs are very lightweight arms. These other ones are heavier ones, so I got that wrong. Yeah, so VP46S are actually fairly like mid-lightweight arms. I always get these two mixed back and forth. Quite obvious looking at the name why, but yeah, these two I always get the left and right arm mixed up quite often. Sorry, I had the names blocked off. I probably had that for the prior pages, didn't I? No, it was just for some reason the arm parts. So just go back to the first one. Yeah, the starter arms melee increase, the C3s firearm, the Tianlongs melee increase. Yeah, so the VP46S, which are lighter weight arms, got a very nice melee increase. The Natchters, very small EN load. The VE46A's heavier arms got a melee increase, about, looks like 11% increase. Not sure necessarily why you'd use these arms for that purpose, but it's there in case you want it. The Wrecker arms got, honestly, a lot of melee increase. Not that you're really going to be using these for melee. The only, feasible reason I could think of why the Wrecker arms would be given a melee increase is that because it's meant for recoil control, they really expected these to be Ludaus or chain guns with that, and then just hold it down and go. And once you're out because you fucked up, they wanted the punch to at least do something. As for the Salad arms, again, melee specialization increase, fairly heavier arms. Little EN load down. These really are now just fairly even across the board. These are, if you want a slightly bulkier midweight arms with average or above average stats, these are actually very good. Because, as I said, it does a bit of everything while being a bit heavier. But overall, it's a great part if you can fit it if you want to gouge defense on a midweight. As for the Alba arms, I don't know why they even bothered, but they increased the firearm specialization from 136 to 140 on fairly low recoil. So this is really like if you have a melee weapon and one arm weapon you really want to hit. Why would they buff the Zimmermans? They nerfed those. As for the final parts, they actually went for the reverse joints, which is a move I was not expecting. So the bipedals, the Mind Alphas got a very small EN load change with a very slight AP buff. The Kossawar lightweight reverse joint legs had a weight change. They actually dropped in weight even further to make them even faster. Because here's honestly the issue. The Kossawar legs, when you had the pseudo reverse joint Nash legs, had no place literally anywhere because they were just highly outclassed by the pseudo reverse joint. But now, being even lighter as they are, it now has a speed increase over the. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to be faster than the Nash legs now, while being weaker in load, stability, and really everything else. It's just faster now. The Mind Beta had a very sizable attitude stability increase, as well as a weight drop. So these are the mid weights. They're slightly faster. So Leo, because the Kasuar are now faster, the Kasuar lost to the Nash in every point prior. Now they have the ability of being lightweight reverse joints for ground quick boosting. So as we've all know, the reverse joints in this game went from being the aerial legs of every other game to really the ground burst speed of this game. Not consistent, but burst. So now they can stay on the ground, be extra fast, and can really, if you don't have to go into the air, you can approach, keep back, or just burst move very well. The midweights now got a bit more, the weights down slightly, but this change brings them up to the other, closer to the other bipeds, so that they can really fight consistently more without being too heavily punished. Because while 50 doesn't seem like a lot, when most lighter weight or midweight ACs have 1200 total, 50 can be several bullets of a bunch of things. As for the Spring Chicken, they just tanked these the hell up, and I love it. Because the problem is that while they're supposed to be the heavy reverse joint legs, they're still really midweights. Minus the heavier load limit above midweights, the Spring Chicken for everything else were not really heavyweight. So they got a bit higher load limit. They got a fairly decent increase for AP, as well as the defenses now are actually fairly heavyweight defense for the non-energy ones. So overall, the patch fixed up a few underperforming weapons. They really went for the bomb launchers because they want those more. The Karasawa got a bit more ability to spam for PvE. Still not really that accessible of a gun from how they made it. The arms got a slight overhaul to just get some arms to a bit more average area. And then they buffed these 4 legs. And hello, Matt. I'm doing quite well. So, Armored Core 6 got a balance patch earlier, so we were just briefly going over those. Now that that's done, I can end this video here and we can start the game.